huh? I mean, is there a chance it could surface?
Oh, no way. No. Not unless something...
Oh, well, I mean, you know, don't worry about it. I mean, it ain't coming to that. It ain't coming to that. I mean, there's only two places to put a connection together, and they got zero else. They got zero else. I mean, you know what there is to put together, and it ain't possible, and it ain't coming from me. You just always remember that if you were to say I said this or that, it's a crock of garbage. It's just always deny, deny, deny.
Okay.
You know, I was just lucky that night. I was at home with 3 people. 3 people, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, but your people, I mean, would they crack? I mean, if they ever had to be witnesses?
No, never.
Okay.
I mean, just remember, it's deny, deny, deny.
Okay. So I'm glad it went down, eh?
Yeah.
Glad you got her.
Okay. I mean, just remember, it's deny, deny, deny.
Okay. So I'm glad it went down, eh?
Yeah.
Glad you got her.
Okay.
Good job, Mr. Anderson. It's very skillful. Now, at this point, you are starting out with one purpose in mind, and it isn't to check out the Karen landscape. It is to get a confession from Colin Thatcher. Yet throughout this whole transcript, you don't ask one question which would unequivocally be said to relate directly to JoAnn Wilson's murder and put that to Thatcher. Why didn't you do that?
Well, I felt that if I'd started with, say, a direct question, he might, well, I thought it would spook him.
The reason was that you knew, Gary Anderson, that if you asked a direct question, you knew you were going to get a direct denial because you knew that nothing had gone on between you and Thatcher. Isn't that the real reason why you never go into detail on the tape?
No. No, I had no way of knowing what his answer would be.
See, there's 2 possible explanations to this whole thing, Gary Anderson, about why someone would do what you said that you did. One explanation is that you were a fool. And you agree that that's one explanation?
Well, I certainly felt like a fool.
The other explanation is that with nothing to lose, and perhaps $50,000 of reward money to gain, you might be prepared to say that you had done something that you really hadn't. I mean, isn't that the other explanation?
No, not to me, it's not.
Gary, you come to us today, before this court, with total immunity, guaranteed to you by the authorities in the province from ever being prosecuted in relation to this murder. Isn't that correct? You got nothing to lose here today, Gary. You got nothing to lose.
Well, if you're saying pertaining to this particular charge, then no, I have nothing to lose.
Where you been the last few days, Gary?
Part of the time in hospital.
And in that hospital, you weren't in the pediatrics department, Gary? You're in the mental health wing, the psychiatric wing, isn't that right?
I don't remember what wing I was in.
lot of people who voted for you, Mr. Thatcher.
Is that so? What's your name?
John. John Lipsey.
It's good to meet you, John.
Is that a Bible, sir?
Yes, John, it is.
Didn't know you were a religious man.
That's the only thing that sustains me through this nightmare.
Good luck tomorrow, sir.
JoAnn and I had an excellent marriage for probably 16 and a half of our 17 years. Now, I'm not trying to convey the impression that I was the perfect husband, because I have the same frailties that everybody else does that's married. But if there was a time when I was an excellent husband, I believe it was the last 8 months of our marriage. For that time frame, I put more into it. And I could feel things slipping away. She was a troubled person. She was an unhappy person.
Did you care for her?
Oh, very much so. And for a long time after our separation, I was interested in reconciling with her. In fact, we came very close to it on a couple of occasions.
Mr. Thatcher, what is the nature of the relationship between you and Lynn Daly, also known as Lynn Mandel?
She had a misconception that there was some remote possibility that we might be getting married. And I would use JoAnn as an excuse for putting Lynn off about getting married. And I believe she became rather bitter towards JoAnn. Now, there were times when I did care for her, but I never trusted her. In fact, I never had enough confidence in her to let her drive my car.
Mr. Thatcher, do you remember her telling this court a statement which you are supposed to have said to her, "It is a strange feeling to have blown your wife away"?
We were in bed, and she asked me very quietly, "Did you blow her away?" And I said, "I cannot imagine what a strange feeling that would be." No, of course not.
Now, we listened to a tape. Why did you go to that meeting with Gary Anderson, if I can put it that simply?
For 2 reasons. The police had come down very heavily on anybody that had known me. I wanted to know what was happening between Anderson and the Regina police. Anderson is a very volatile, irrational individual, and someone that you don't want to have any trouble with, including me.
Mr. Anderson says, "I got rid of the stuff out of the car." What did you believe that he was referring to?
In 1982, I had met him at the legislative buildings. I had sat in his car for a few moments, and I had left my topcoat, my scarf, and my gloves, and I believe he was referring to that.
Anderson says, almost out of nowhere, "I had of a time to clean the car out, getting blood and stuff off." What's being discussed in this exchange?
No, he had a grin on his face as he was saying it. And I think if there had been a camera there, the expression on my face would have conveyed everything. I did not find it funny.
It's just always deny, deny, deny. What are you referring to there, Mr. Thatcher?
When you've done nothing wrong, I see nothing wrong in denying it.
And with regard to the end of the conversation, what did you take Mr. Anderson to mean with his little comment, "I'm glad you got her"?
He made a little gesture with his hand, and I thought he was referring to a short person, and I thought he was referring to my daughter Stephanie, of whom I had obtained custody some months before, but in fact, I really do not know what he meant.
Mr. Thatcher, did you have anything whatever to do with that shooting on January the 21st, 1983?
No.
Did you do it yourself, Mr. Thatcher?
No, I did not.
Did you arrange for anyone in any way to have anything to do with it?
No.
Can you believe that display? A lump in his throat when he talked about JoAnn. And people believed him.
Mr. Kuyava, what do you think about the trial?
No comment. Not now. No, thank you. Miss Thatcher. People are thinking it's inconceivable a Thatcher could have committed murder. I can feel it in the courtroom.
Serge, you got him. The tape, for God's sake. Just listen to that tape. What's an innocent man doing talking about blood and guns? Stick Culver in the lobby. Thatcher's old political buddy. We never talked to him. We figured he'd give us the brush off like all the rest.
Ed, the case is closed. We can't call back witnesses.
Hi, have you got a Dick Culver registered here?
Just a moment. I'm sorry, it's not registered.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Thatcher, you gave us a great long story on how happy a marriage you had for some 16 and a half years, right?
I had many frailties. I obviously failed as a husband. My marriage broke up.
We've pulled a wonderful switch to humility this afternoon. I'm very pleased with that, sir.
I'm glad you're pleased.
Do you think one of the most important things in a marriage is being faithful?
Yes, I suppose so.
Then why, when you were trying this hard to make the marriage work, were you also doing one Janice Gardner at the same time? And you were cheating and laughing and boozing it up and making all kinds of smart-aleck jokes about how you were cheating on the old bag at home.
That is your description.
Give me yours.
The breakdown of a marriage is a two-way street.
Please answer the question. Did you convey to the jury the impression that you and Graham had taken along a couple of babes with you?
I really didn't see the relevancy of it.
You didn't see the relevance of you fooling around with these other women?
I'm sorry you're not getting the answers you are looking for.
You're not sorry at all. You're just evasive. You had an $87,000 payment to JoAnn Wilson coming due in February of 1983. Could you make your payments?
Yes?
Then why did 3 or 4 banks and financial institutions